What is going on, guys? Wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the Suicide Squad reveal today, and I've got to admit I am incredibly worried about the development of this game for a lot of reasons, and I'm going to go into them in as best detail as I can today. I really want you to, in your minds, think about how long it takes to make a game. Now, I haven't made a game. You probably haven't made a game. But I could tell you on average, it's about 3 to 5 years. Sometimes it's a little more. Typically, it's less if it has an existing engine and you're just adding and changing assets to it. What has Rocksteady been doing for the last few years? Not much. This worries me. This worries me in the same way that 343 Industries worries me when they showed off Halo Infinite. And the reason why is you build up a lot of hype as you wait for things. And then when they're finally revealed, you better bring your best foot forward. And I don't think the Suicide Squad game did that. Now, in their defense, I don't necessarily know if they have to, because we are getting a fully fledged sequel to the Batman games in Gotham Knights coming sometime in 2021. So for them to say, hey, we have a really cool game now, and then we have another really cool game a couple months after then, maybe it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I guess you could argue the timing of that. And if it takes more time to make it, then by all means, take more time to make it. However, what worries me is that we've gotten to this point already, and we're still going to add another 2 years on top of that. The reason why I say it reminds me a lot of Halo Infinite is it's clear to me that these studios, both 343 and Rocksteady, haven't just been sitting idly by doing nothing. While you could argue that Halo 5 may or may not have been somewhat of a commercial success, whether the last Batman game may or may not have been a commercial success, by no means will it fund an entire studio for 7+ years. That's just not happening, folks, especially when you look at the amount of sales they had. Now, if you're arguing a game maybe like Grand Theft Auto 5 that continues to trend on the charts, a game like Minecraft that has made Microsoft oodles of money, games that continue to get trending and sales behind them, maybe. But I can tell you this, not a lot of people are running out to buy the latest Batman game because it's over. And it's probably free on most services now. I know I got all the Batman games for free on the Epic Games Store. I'm sure they've come in and out of Game Pass or PlayStation Plus or whatever. And even if they haven't, you can pick them up for probably $3 as a used copy right now at your local GameStop. What this probably means is that this game was in development. Suicide Squad was being developed, and they changed their minds, and they changed their minds, and they changed their minds. And we've seen this domino effect of major creative direction changing over the course. That's really the only logical conclusion, unless they barred their doors, went home, and then got other jobs, and then about a year ago said, we need to get back in the studio and we really need to start making a game. And this is all they had to show for it. That's really the only two options here, guys. What worries me with that reutilization of assets is we have seen this time and time again on other games, and we have seen how fractured and broken and how incomplete their stories are. We've seen Jason Schreier's article on what happened with Destiny and the amount of rewriting and refocusing and re-energizing the creative direction. And that game, the plot was just trash. Now, you could argue the gameplay was fun. I sure enjoyed it. It did get repetitive after a while, and it took them a few DLCs to get their feet wet. But Destiny was a brand new IP. There was nothing to build off of. And I'm not excusing what they did on that game. But if you're going to take an established franchise as this Arkham universe that Rocksteady has put a lot of effort into and given us established lore and characters and themes and the engine and the gameplay and kind of what we expect when we think of a Batman game, at least today in modern terms, then a lot of that groundwork has already been done. All you're really dealing with now, obviously, new art assets in preparation for the upcoming console release of the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, which you have to do now because we are going to be 2+ years after the launch of these consoles before you see these things actually come out of the ground. But even before then, you were thinking along the lines of probably PlayStation 4, but now they've probably halted the development on that. Back to the drawing board. You've probably seen gameplay that was really fun and imaginative at the time, which has unfortunately been cloned to death, as many game industries do. And that probably had to go back to the drawing board as well now. And all you have to show for your master reveal, you have this full-fledged DC super fan day. It's going to be a huge celebration of all things DC. And this is all you have to show is a CGI trailer. That is really not very impressive. They probably would have been better off not doing anything. Let Gotham Knights have its moment in the sun. Let it shine, let people ask questions about it, show it off as like this is the new thing, and just stay in the dark for a while. I don't know if this was done in an effort to try to build up their stock or to prove their self-worth. We know in the background that Warner Brothers was really trying to sell itself, or at least under direction from its parent company, where they were trying to be offloaded. There was a big, well, I don't know if there was a big bidding war, we don't know. But it went up for sale, and then suddenly it wasn't up for sale. That doesn't really endorse to me or just ring any kind of like confidence to me that like, hey, we were going to sell this company and we were going to kind of like get rid of our assets and like, well, we don't know what we're going to do. Hey, we got a game coming out next week. Can't wait to see it. Oh, do we mean next week? We actually meant 2 years from now. It just doesn't make sense. This makes me feel like it's a grasp of old assets being thrown together. That's really the only conclusion I feel like anybody can come up with. And I'm really down on this, and I don't want to be down on this because I love the Suicide Squad. I was one of the few people that actually enjoyed the movie, believe it or not. I think it's a cool idea to play as villains. Under one major condition here, and this is where my head's going. They have to commit that you're going to be a villain from beginning to end. Far too often, I have played video games where you have this choice as starting off as a good guy or a bad guy, but always you end up as a good guy. You've seen this time and time and time again. And if they do give you the option to be a bad guy, you're not really a bad guy per se. You're just misunderstood. Now, I would really like it if they really committed to this. I have a feeling, based on what I know of Warner Brothers, honestly, I have a feeling it's going to be one of these Star Wars Battlefront 2 games where you're a bad guy for the first maybe 2 or 3 missions, and then you're going to find out the deep, dark secrets, and you're going to suddenly be a good guy, or you're going to be kind of like a neutral person. And that's really frustrating, I don't want to see that. And I know I'm putting words in their mouths. I have no idea what this game is about. Nobody has any idea what this game is about because all we saw was a 4-minute CGI trailer that really had no gameplay to it. Maybe some themes. Maybe you could say, oh, well, it's bright and bubbly. It reminds me of this game. It's going to take place in the day. I guess. I don't know. Look at all these CGI trailers as they start. Look where they ultimately end up in terms of gameplay. And they're usually miles apart. So don't let that kind of like sway you. Don't let the excitement kind of build you up. From a critical eye, this game has failure written all over it. I want to be the first to tell you I want to be proven wrong. I said already I like the Suicide Squad, and I do. I like the idea and the theme, if they're going to commit to it, that there are these crazy, nutty villains doing crazy, nutty, villainous things. But they can't switch halfway through. And Rocksteady has a major target on their back now, a studio that has been quiet for far too long, coming out with this, their best foot forward, showing us this. Not even a glimpse of gameplay, not even a hint at kind of what we can expect, other than some very generic, loose, high-level boilerplate, mumbo jumbo that you would get in terms of like a press release. that doesn't cut it in today's day. And I'm really worried about that. So major thumbs down for me on this whole reveal. I think this was a very bad, unforced error. I think they know better than this, but here we are now. Gonna look at this trailer, dissect it, wonder for at least 2 years. Oh, I don't know, guys. This just, if this isn't Warner Brothers in a nutshell, I don't know what is. Great potential, so-so execution. Let me know what you guys think about this reveal in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.